Hi, I'm Elisabeth Dawson, and you're listening to another episode of Ways to Love Your Money. We're so happy that you're here. We're going to talk to an entrepreneur today and about the marketing and the branding and how the importance of all those intricate steps are. Really, her story is about being authentic and in the moment and sharing that with the world. She's got a lot of followers on her Instagram, her Facebook, all these other pages, but it's the importance of that. So here at Copia Productions, which is the studio we're in right now, you can tell that we've been doing a lot more marketing wise. We've been filming these podcasts. We're basically on every area that it's available. We wrote the book Wealth by Design, and it's a brand that's stuck with us. But there's so much more, and she's got some really incredible, helpful tips for all of you out there that are trying to get your message heard. So stay tuned. She'll be joining us in just a moment. Welcome back to this week's episode of Ways to Love Your Money. We have our guest back, Miss Tara Grier, and today we're going to talk about branding and marketing and social media marketing. And I think this is powerful, especially for those business owners and, maybe novice people out there that are trying to do this the right way, but maybe not. She's got some great tips, and I can't wait for her to share them. So welcome back to the show, Miss Tara.
Hi, thanks for having me back.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So in your world, things that we've done together has been a lot about branding, marketing, pulling together a system that's just tied to how to make sure that your information's out there and welcomed well. How do you think that actually started for you to have that interest, and where do you think it is today? So I know it's a long question, but I figured I'd let you just talk.
Yeah, so I think that one thing about branding is you always have this thing where you've gotten to a certain place and, you never want to say, oh, I wish I did. Oh, I wish I did. I wish I did. When you have a phenomenal idea, I think that it's crucial to just do the branding right from that moment, from the day you decide that logo, from the day you decide that slogan, is incorporate that in everything that you do, because once it becomes huge, it's there and there's no going back. And whatever brand you have created a permanent imprint on the internet, on Google, that all relates back to the same thing. And if you do it right, it works really well.
So in your definition today, what do you think doing it right is?
I think there's for a lot of different professions, in my opinion, I think that part of doing it right is, having a strong brand and a story, telling your why, and putting some thought into that. Like, why are you doing this? What are you about? Why did you start the company? Don't give those fluffy answers that are, like what everybody else says. Why? Who are you? What do you do in your free time? I think if you're the person at the heart of the brand or the company, I think those things are important.
Well, I couldn't be more agreeable with you, because I think if you're not creating, if you're not marketing, if you're not trying to get out there in this world, your business is going to die before you even got it started. So innovating is so important in that creative side, and it's also having a team to help support those creative ideas, because I know I get a little crazy with my ideas, and I have an incredible team that supports me on that, and maybe threatens me a little bit along the way because I have a new idea every single day. But that's that creative edge. That's that creative edge. So let's say for the novice out there that has a creative edge today and wants to bring it to social media or to a website or to a newspaper or to a magazine, where do you think some of the basics are to start?
Obviously, that I would do, if you're a novice, you're going to go after a lot of the free things, which is, social media. I would always advise against spending some money on, as far as, branding, the look, the logo, whatever. I think that's really important, because there's nothing worse than changing a logo or changing anything after you've already made it, so to say.
Okay.
And I think that, you need to commit to it. This isn't so you waking up one day and saying you want to have a brand. Okay, well, that's a big deal. So you need to make a commitment to it and do it. I mean, I've met people along the way. Oh, I'm an interior designer today. Next year, there's something else. Okay, no, that's not how a brand works.
Right.
If you want a brand, you do it. It stays around forever or however long you want it to. And you work on that brand every single day, a little bit.
Okay, so branding. Let's talk about a great business idea. Would you say once it starts to kind of take traction to go get it trademarked? You know, that business name, that logo, whatever it might be?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And sometimes, depending on the brand, you can most likely not only trademark the brand, you could trademark some of your key slogans. And I think that's really important, especially if you make it really big one day. There's going to be a lot of other people that are going to want to come into your space. And in related to that, like, let's say you have a brand and you have a few slogans that you think are great, but you only wind up using one or two. Go ahead and spend the extra couple $100 and trademark 4 or 5 more, just so you have them in your back pocket, because you never know which direction the company's going to go.
Okay. Well, on our previous episode with you, you said that you want people to actually see you in real life. So when you're out to dinner with your husband, when you're taking the kids to school, when you're working on your product, which is fluffy layers and the apparel and all the different pieces that go along with that, or if you're with your animals because you love your animals. So how would you suggest to someone that's maybe not comfortable doing that to put it out there? How would you suggest to start implementing certain pieces on which platforms of social media?
Yeah, so I think that obviously anything live is kind of scary. So, if you're not comfortable with that, Facebook Live or Instagram Live or what have you, maybe don't start with that direction. But, you can always take pictures of, there's a lot of, in particular, women that are only willing to put out certain information about themselves or certain angles or certain looks. And I'm guilty of that too. But I will tell you is that as a woman to a woman, when you want to be likable, you don't want to sit there if someone, doesn't like to wear a lot of makeup or doesn't like to be fancy. You don't want to sit there and, present yourself a certain way when, we all like to chill out every once in a while. We don't want to look perfect every day. We're not all obsessed with being skinny every day. I think those things are really important to really like own who you are and like really be honest about it. Like, people always say to me like, oh, you guys are killing it. Fluffy Layers is doing so well. And I'm like, really? It's extremely it's very, very difficult. I think that you need to always add that, not say, oh, I'm doing so well. I have a beach house, I have a Range Rover, all the stuff. That's not fun, and no one likes that. Okay. Just be yourself.
Okay, so when you're putting your feet up on the coffee table and you're having a glass of wine.
Yeah, or like there's a laundry mountain that is like 65 yards high in your bedroom. You know what? My business is good, but maybe my laundry is a mountain, and that's just what it is. I think that makes you relatable and likable.
I'd be afraid to show my pile of laundry right now. Or my shoe closet, but maybe that's what you're saying I should show.
Maybe. Everybody just sees, what they want to see on the internet, and, you just want to be honest.
Okay. So being imperfect is actually a good thing to share.
Yes, I think so, yes. I mean, unless it's about, it depends on your industry, but yes.
So from this standpoint and where you are with your business now, you've got so many followers. How many followers do you think you have on Fluffy Layers?
I think on Facebook we're almost at 100,000, and I think on Instagram maybe like 35,000.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
We have a huge email
list. So you're just showing real life to this group. They're supporting your brand. Are they buying your brand too? Have you been seeing a return on investment there?
Yeah, one thing that we discovered, which was very interesting, we always do photo shoots, the pretty photo shoots, because they're nice and they look good. And then, we do photos on the white background. But then we also have customers that sends us photos that aren't perfect, that aren't taken on fancy phones, that don't have great backgrounds. And those kinds of pictures we use just as much as the fancy ones because they're real. Like, there's so much advertising I think that people put out there that is ridiculous. Like, for example, some lady wearing a fur coat in a convertible driving down the road. Like, that's ridiculous. We know that women who wear fur coats are going to go to Colorado and wear it when they're going out to dinner. I think that you should find a way to be authentic with the images that you put out there, as well as, nice lifestyle images are good too, though.
Do you have anything else you would say that you would want to maybe be exposed to? Anything like having a professional team helping you? What's working for you? I know your sister helps you a lot, and she does a lot with PR.
Yeah, as far as, you need to stay organized and have a calendar of what you're going to do. For us, it's different than what you do. We have sales impulsively. I look around at the inventory. I decide today socks are going to be on sale. Some of those things you cannot schedule. And some of the in the moment moments that are some of your greatest moments, they're not schedulable. Hence why Instagram works the way that it works. You need to capture the moment. You can't schedule an Instagram post. It's there in that moment to be in that moment. So I think that that's important.
Anything that you'd like to share with the audience to kind of wrap up this conversation of this segment?
No, I think if you want to start a brand, it's not a joke. You're going to get in the boxing ring, and you need to get ready, but you got to see it through if you really want something to come out of it, and it's going to take longer than a couple years.
Well, I think it's great advice, and it's actually real. It's very real. Again, thank you, audience, for tuning in, watching the show, and kind of seeing this other perspective about marketing, branding. There's a lot of businesses out there that they're trying to figure out how to get their brand out there. And what I'm hearing today is to be more authentic, be a little bit more real and in the moment. And I'm going to take some of this to heart myself too. So if you have questions about this and you'd like to reach out to myself to ask Tara some questions or connect the two dots, or maybe you just want to see her brand out there, Fluffy Layers, please give us a call at 619-640-2622, or be welcome to send us an email too with your pictures, if you like, at questions@elisabeth.dawson.com. Stay tuned for next week's episode. It'll be a great one as well. The information provided in this show is for informational and educational purposes only. This show is not investment advice, nor is it intended to address the financial needs of any particular viewer. The opinions expressed on this show are not intended to be an endorsement of any particular investment strategy or service of any other kind. You must make an independent decision regarding investments or strategies mentioned throughout the show. Before acting on information in this show, you should consider whether it is suitable for your particular situation and strongly consider seeking advice from a financial advisor.